I don't want you to work too hard, and I don't want you to stay there too late.
Honey, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to the office to say hello to Mike and Cliff Nelson.
Then why are you bringing an attaché case with you?
April, I'm taking this along in case there are a couple of papers I want to bring home. Now, come on, this is not my first day at school.
It is the first time you are venturing out of this apartment alone into the real world.
Boy, you're pretty when you worry about me. Don't ever stop. Bye-bye.
Mrs. Scott, do you want something special for lunch?
Lunch? No, Molly, I'm just going to skip lunch, thank you.
Oh, Mrs. Scott, you can't stop eating. Mr. Scott's gone out.
Yeah, he just left. I offered to go with him, but he thought it was a silly idea, so I didn't press the issue.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be all right.
I know he'll be all right. It's just that everything he's gone through the past 6 months, I just don't know if he'll ever get back to where he used to be, that's all.
Well, I know it's not my business, but do you really think people can expect him to be able to come back?
I'm sorry. What do you mean?
Well, time changes things, doesn't it? And when situations change, well, they change. That's all. Oh, hello. Thank you. Yes. That's Mr. Swift. He's on his way up.
Logan? I wonder if you wanted to see Draper.
Oh, doesn't matter. I'm sure they ran across each other in the lobby.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Molly, isn't there something you have to do?
Didn't see him. We must have walked right past each other. I didn't know he was going out today.
Last-minute decision. He called Mike this morning and told him that he thought it was about time he ventured out into the real world.
Oh, I see.
Did you want to see Draper? Talk to him?
Yeah, but it's nothing important. I just brought by some documents he was asking me about. Transcript of the Noel Madison trial.
Oh, yeah, he's been very interested in seeing those.
Yes. Said he wanted to get caught up in how he came to be convicted of murder and what happened afterwards.
Yeah. Well, he'll be very sorry he missed you.
Well, like I say, it's not important. I can leave the papers. I just thought I'd combine being a delivery boy and being a visitor.
Well, you're still a visitor. Would you like to join me for some lunch?
No, I'm sure you got plans.
No, I don't. Molly?
Oh, yes, Mrs. Scott?
Molly, you did offer to fix some lunch, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I'd be glad to.
Molly, I don't want to cause you any trouble.
Well, frankly, Mr. Swift, I'd be glad if you'd stay. It might encourage Mrs. Scott to eat just a little something.
Is that a good enough reason for
How can I refuse?
I have something very nice. It won't take a minute.
Thank you.
So how's Draper doing? I mean, he must be feeling better if he went back to work.
Yeah, Draper's fine. A little unsure of himself.
Well, it's not surprising. He should still be in shock considering what he's been through the past 6 months.
Yeah.
How's Julia?
She's fine. I guess she's in a little bit of shock, too. I mean, after finally being introduced to her daddy after all these months.
How's her mommy doing?
Me? I'm okay.
Hope you don't mind if I disagree, because Sorry, of course, you're worried about Draper. He's going back in the world.
Logan, it's more than that. Raven was here.
I should have smelled the odor of disaster. What has she done now?
Logan, she told Draper that we had fallen in love with each other.
Oh, boy, I'm sorry. I should have known about that. She was getting back at me for refusing to postpone the custody trial.
Custody trial was postponed.
Yeah, it was after her mother's death. She came to me before that happened. Said she wanted more time. God knows why. She was in better condition to go to trial than I was. I refused. I'm sure this is her idea of punishment. You know, coming up here telling Draper a pack of lies.
Lies?
Well, Raven's not stupid, is she? She's going to include some truth in what she tells people. And I guess there's some truth in that. On my part, anyway. I did fall in love with you. Wished I hadn't. Now, anyway, but that doesn't change the situation. It just makes it worse.
A lunch is served, Mrs. Scott.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, look what I found. Come on.
Draper!
Hey, Mike.
Welcome home.
I thought it was a ghost, but they didn't say boo when I said hello, so I figured it must be flesh and blood.
It's great to see you back here, Draper. In the flesh.
Well, it felt a little strange, but the minute I walked in the door, I was like I'd never left.
Do me a favor, will you? Don't go back to your old office just yet. You'd feel very peculiar.
It's not my office anymore.
Sure it is. As soon as I move everything out of there, I redecorated it in a combination of early Danish centerfold and French provincial mess.
Let's not rush into things. Draper, why don't you sit down?
Thanks, Mike.
Cliff, you realize that Draper's not back in harness yet. He might want a little more time to recuperate.
No more time to recuperate. If I do any more of that, I'm going to start climbing the walls. What I need now is to get to work.
See? I better go clean out the office.
Cliff, relax. We don't know whose office is whose yet. And we're not going to make that decision until we consult with the interior architect.
What do you mean?
You mean you haven't heard the news? Prentice and Samuels are moving out of the building.
What difference does that make? It's only a two-man office.
And their two-man office just happens to be right next to ours. So I've made a deal with the building management. We're going to break through a wall and use their space.
That's a good idea, Mike.
Well, since we're going to be a three-man team, we're going to need that extra space.
Not to mention a few more clients.
Cliff, don't worry. We'll get those.
Yeah. One of these days will be one of those big law offices with 20 names on the door.
No, we won't. 3 is going to be just fine.
Yeah. Carr, Nelson, and Scott. Well, keep it alphabetical, right?
Wrong.
Okay. Carr, Scott, and Nelson. That better?
There's no reason to plunge back into the thick of the workload, Draper. If you feel the need to do something, why don't you review the cases we're handling now and give us the benefit of your opinion?
Sure, you can give me some ideas on Logan's custody trial. Boy, has that turned into a mess.
Cliff, I don't see how you could lose that case.
Well, Cliff has good reason to be worried. The fact is, our friend Logan has not been very helpful to his attorneys.
Sure, it's all his fault. Boy, he keeps putting on the brakes every time I pick up speed. Just may as well hand the decision right over to Raven.
You want me to talk to him?
Well, sure, yeah. Maybe you could do better with him than I have. You know, if it wasn't for your wife testifying, it wouldn't be worth going into court.
Well, it's going to be an uphill battle because Raven has the advantage as the mother, and apparently she's been taking excellent care of the child.
Please, don't mention that point.
What do you mean?
Well, it's all my fault. I had this brilliant idea, you know. I decided to stick this welfare woman on Raven. Benita Thomas is her name. She's the kind of woman that renders objective opinions for courts. Boy, what an opinion. She must have caught Raven on a very good day.
The statement the court received made Raven sound like the mother of the year.
Look, I know it sounds bad, but the judge hasn't heard how Raven tried to abandon Jamie, and I know that happened because I was there.
Sure, but, don't you think that's one of those your word against mine situations? You know, now that Raven's letter doesn't exist. Look, why don't I just show you the facts? I'll go get the file. You can look it over for yourself.
Thanks, Cliff. I'd appreciate that.
You know, Draper, you are aware of why we're putting April on the stand and not you.
Yeah, Cliff. It's because of my memory.
Yeah, but you're all better now, right? You are all better, aren't you?
Yeah. I can remember everything up to the train wreck. But after that, it gets a little hazy.
Hey, don't let it worry you. Don't worry about the custody trial either. We'll figure out something. The opera isn't over until the fat lady sings. Hi-ya-ta-ho-ya! Hi-ya-ta-ho-ya!
You know, it must really be an experience having that guy around here every day.
Oh, it is. But he is a fine attorney, and he approaches every case with enthusiasm. But I have to admit, sometimes he is a bit too much. He speaks without thinking occasionally.
Yeah, I experienced that when I came through the door.
Oh? What did he say?
He asked me how it felt to have been a legal bigamist, to have had 2 wives.
Oh, you shouldn't take that seriously.
Why not, Mike? It does have a serious side to it, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Not from a legal standpoint, but let's face it, from an emotional point of view, I had 2 wives. I thought that Emily was my wife.
Because she made you believe that.
Now, what difference does it make? I still responded, Mike. The question is, how did I respond? My memory... Mike, I'm not sure if I slept with Emily.
You are, ladies.
This is lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So, I'm really very enthusiastic about it, but I told Draper that I didn't want him to be doing me a favor just because we're friends.
Well, I'm sure that's not it. I know that Draper would want you to do the story because he knows you'll tell the truth.
Well, he wants the facts told. He doesn't want a lot of rumors going around. However, I'm not so sure that I'll tell the complete story.
What do you mean?
Well, Nicole, my idea of good journalism is that I shouldn't be the one to put some things in public print. I mean, things like, some descriptions of private lives.
I know what you mean. If somebody wants to expose their private life, they can write an autobiography.
Exactly. I want to be completely fair about it. Are you all right?
It's a little warm in here, isn't it?
Really? I was beginning to think it's a bit cool. Maybe the air conditioner. Do you want to sit over here?
Oh, no. That's all right. Isn't it true that Draper doesn't really remember all the details?
Yeah. Yes, there are a lot of blocks, but frankly, from everything I have already, I have enough for at least 5 pieces for the series for the paper.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Nicole, you're not feeling well.
I'm just a little lightheaded at the moment. That's okay.
Oh, look, maybe you're hungry. Let me get that waiter. Oh, my goodness, you're so pale.
That's impossible. I have on too much blush.
No, well, it's not showing now.
No, it's just a little dizzy spell. It'll go away. Just a second. All better.
Yeah?
Are you ladies ready to order?
Yes, we are. I think I'd like to start with some soup. What is the soup?
Lobster bisque.
No, I don't think I'll have anything to drink, thank you.
I think I'll skip it, too.
Hey, not because of me. Come on, have a white wine or something.
No, I'd just as soon eat.
I'll bring your orders at once.
Thank you. Now, Nicole, have you had dizzy spells before?
This is just a little turn, the sort of thing that happens when you raise your head too quickly, something like that.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I see.
You don't see. You think this has to do with my anemia. You think I haven't told you everything. My dear journalist, I have told all, so you don't need to pump me.
All right. I have no intention.
Of course, it does have to do with my anemia. Because of it, my blood pressure's a little low, so it's natural that I get dizzy sometimes. But when Dr. Stewart's little pills start to work, I'm going to be just fine.
Okay, just as long as you're taking care of yourself.
The doctor in the house, do you think I have any choice?
True. But you would take his advice if he offered it, wouldn't you?
And he does all the time. But I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's boring. Back to Draper. When are you going to start this series?
Well, immediately, while it's newsworthy.
Well, I can't wait to read it, and I'm sure thousands of other people feel the same way, including April.
I wonder if he's been able to tell her everything yet.
It's not the impression I have. April told me that he hasn't talked much about the last 6 months with Emily, but I think that's understandable.
Would Would you like to go outside and get some fresh air?
No, Nancy. What I think I have to do is wash my face.
Okay, I'll come with you.
No. You stay here. It's
Coming
okay.
with you.
So tell me, Doc, am I gonna live?
Oh, I think I can give you another 90 years or so.
Oh, good.
Now, you made a very nice recovery. Doesn't mean you can stop taking care of yourself, however.
Well, I never lived a healthier life. I eat 3 meals a day. I sleep 8 hours a night.
And you also work about 7 hours every evening at that discotheque, and you dance how many hours a day?
Just a few.
How many's a few? Come on, be honest.
Well, it varies. I'm not dancing all the time. Sometimes I'm exercising, too.
Just give me some idea of how many hours a day you spend in Mr. Wiley's dance studio.
About 6 hours a day, I guess.
All right, 6 hours and 7 hours working. That's 13 hours of hard physical activity. I'm sure even Gavin warns you that overdoing it can be dangerous, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's always telling me what to do.
Really?
Well, I guess because I don't pay him anything, he thinks he's allowed to.
You don't pay him, how come?
Because things are different between us now. Gavin is my personal impresario. He thinks he's going to make a star out of me so he can be rich when I start doing movies and plays.
Are you serious?
Yeah. The funny part is he's serious. I mean, I'm not a bad dancer, but I'm not that good. And Gavin is a wonderful teacher. So if he thinks he can make a star out of me, who am I to say no?
Well, that's an interesting development, isn't it?
Well, the only thing that has me worried is I signed a contract.
Contract? What kind of contract?
Well, it doesn't say anything about money, except in vague terms. All he wants is my body and my soul.
What?
Well, here, I'll show you. Gavin wants me to swear that I'll do everything he says concerning my dancing. It sounds awful the way he words it. It makes me practically a slave.
Yeah, all the same, I'd like to read this, if I might.
I'd be very grateful if you read it, Miles. Oh, I gotta go. Simon Legree's waiting for me right now.
I'll tell you what, I will see you at home tonight. We can discuss this, okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Miles.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Hi, Nancy, what's up?
Miles, I met Nicole for lunch. She had a dizzy spell.
Is she all right?
No, she isn't. She almost fainted in the powder room.
Fainted? What did you do?
Well, she seems to be somewhat recovered, but she does not look well, and I thought that since we're not far from your office that...
Yes, bring her right here, will you?
Okay, I will. Right away. Bye-bye.
Good, isn't it?
It was very, very good. Molly's not just good with children. Makes a dynamite lunch. How was she with dinner?
Wonderful.
Oh.
Though I've been trying to fix a few meals myself these days. It makes me feel useful.
Thought you were going back to work.
Well, I am back officially. It's just, oh, I haven't been spending the whole day there. I figure under the circumstances, it's, well, I think I should spend a little more time with Draper.
I see.
Besides, Geraldine is still the boss there, you know.
Well, you give your employees time. They'll get used to you.
Think so? Right now, I think they just tolerate me. If there's any real problem, they go straight to Geraldine.
I'm torn. I'm sorry for you, but I'm very happy for Geraldine. The job is working out as well as it is. She's thrilled with it. She's having a wonderful time.
It's amazing how things work out, isn't it? Too bad everything couldn't work out like that. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just need a little air.
I'm sorry I upset you.
You didn't do anything.
Yes, I did. I fell in love with my best friend's wife. And if that wasn't enough, I came into her home, and I told her about it when it could do nothing but cause her pain. I promise you I'll never say it again. And if it would help matters, I won't come around anymore.
God, don't say that, Logan. I mean, do you think that's going to help? Do you think that's going to make anything any better?
I wish I knew what would help.
I wish I knew myself.
You never said that you felt about me the way that I felt about you, and I don't think you did. You were too much in love with Draper. And you love him now.
I don't want you to ever talk about never seeing me again.
I think it's an option we ought to consider.
It's an ugly option. And it's not right. It's not fair. I don't want it to end like this.